So here we are here, we've got these two view controllers in the tab bar. So we've got the pan and the tap. And so far we've implemented the pan gesture. I'm going to take a little bit of a sidestep here, and what we're going to do is we're going to next programmatically add a pinch gesture for zooming on a view. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and create a view controller for the pinch gesture. You can call the tab pinch. I'd like you to add it to the tab bar controller, give it an image, okay, and a background color, let's say pink or something, and then we'll continue from there. So just pause the video and do that and come back. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to add the pinch view controller class to your project. If you had trouble with this stage, please look back at the initial video and follow along with that video. There's detailed instructions there. So what you should see now is you should see this image with the star that says pinch as the tab bar item. And then we have this scene, which is which should be the pinch scene. Okay, I've made it pink, and I have added I've added a view controller subclass here called pinch view controller. Okay, so the one thing, and also this this segue here should be a relationship view controller segue. So make sure that that looks right. Okay, so right now you'll see actually that it says relationship view controllers to view controller. So the one thing that we must make sure we do is change the class of this view controller. So I'll change this to the pinch class, pinch view controller. Okay, so we should be good to go to the next step. Okay, so here we are here inside the pinch view controller. I just cleared everything out of this implementation file. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a square that's 100 by 100 to the center of the view, and we're going to make it purple, and we're going to add a pinch gesture to it. And what we will do is we will simply stub out the implementation of the selector, and we'll put a breakpoint there and make sure we're hitting that to test it. So let's start by adding viewDidLoad and making a call to super viewDidLoad. So viewDidLoad only gets called once when this view is first being created. So this is where we're going to do our setup code. So what we want is a UIView, and we'll just call this view. So UIView alloc and init with frame. So this wants a CG rect, and this CG rect is going to have the width, height, and its upper left-hand origin. So we need to make sure that that places the view correctly in the center of the screen. So in order to do that, let's just make a CG rect. I will call this frame, and we will make a CG rect make. So I'm going to create a CG float here for width, which I will make 100, CG float height, and we'll also make that 100. So we can fill this in width, height. Okay, so for the X value, what we need is the mid a point of self.view, and then we need the width of we need the width of the view itself divided by 2. So we'll do CG, and then we can do get CG rect get mid x self.view for the mid x of its bounds, and then we will subtract the width divided by 2. Okay, similarly here we will do CG rect. Let's just tab over get mid y, and then self.view.bounds, and then minus height divided by 2. Okay, so this should place this frame in the center of the view. So we'll add the frame to this initializer. So view, we want it to have a background color of UI color, purple color. Okay, and let's do self.view, add subview, view. And now we need to add that gesture. It's going to be a pinch gesture. So UIPinchGestureRecognizer, call it pinch gesture. UIPinchGestureRecognizer, alloc, and then we'll use this init with target action. So the target will be self, action will be @selector, and then we'll say view pinched. And then make sure you have the colon there because we're going to take a parameter. Okay, so let's make sure we add that to view, add gesture recognizer, pinch gesture. Okay, so we're getting a warning because we have not implemented view pinched. So let's do that. And this is a void method. And we want a UI pinch gesture recognizer, and I'm just going to call this sender. Okay, so let's just put a breakpoint here and run this and make sure that when we pinch on the view, it will stop at this breakpoint. So let's just run that. Okay, so let's put the pinch tab on. You can see it is sitting in the middle of the screen. So to get the pinch gesture to work in the simulator, you hold down the Option key, okay? And then bring these 2 points to where you would like to start the pinch, and then hold down on your left mouse button, okay? And then move out or in. Okay, so here we're pinching in. So you can see that we did indeed stop at this breakpoint. So here we are here in the view pinched method. So what we want is we want a scale factor. So when we're pinching, we have 2 points on the screen, and as we move our fingers in or out, we get a value that is a scale value, and we would like to get that value and set that on our view. So if we just jump over to Dash here, I'm looking at the UIPinchGestureRecognizer documentation. You can see that UIPinchGestureRecognizer, as we know, it inherits from UIGestureRecognizer. Okay, and what it has is it has a scale and a velocity property on it. So if we select scale, we can see that it says that the scale factor relative to the points of the 2 touches in screen coordinates. And we can see that it is a CG float, non-atomic. And in the discussion section, it says that you may set the scale factor, but doing so resets the velocity. So in other words, scale factor is actually settable, not just gettable. And it says that the scale factor value is an absolute value that varies over time. So it is not the delta value from the last time that the scale was reported. Apply the scale value to the state of the view when the gesture is first recognized, and do not concatenate the value each time the handler is called. So basically the idea is that as we're going to be continuously called by the system as the fingers zoom, and we're going to be called with a scale value, but that scale value is the cumulative value from the time that the gesture started. So if during each call we're updating that view, then what we want to do is we want to set the scale back to 1.0 between calls. So we'll have to make sure we do that. Okay, so let me just stop the simulator here. And let's get the scale value, which is going to be a CG float. So we're going to just do sender.scale. And what we want to do is set the scale on the view. That is the view that's coming. We have a reference to it through this parameter. So sender.view is a reference to the square in the middle of the screen. So it has a transform property on it. So we want to call CG affine transform make scale. And we want to call scale and scale. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to reset this scale to 1.0. So scale equals 1.0. So we do that between calls so that the values are not accumulated. Okay, so I'm going to run it. Go to the Pinch tab. Okay, so we can see that the view is indeed scaling. There we have it.